大家好，我哋係 Inno-Chemos team。我今日真係好開心，同你哋再分享下，其實我哋嘅 social venture 係做啲乜嘢。其實簡單介紹下個 team first。我叫 Ralph，我喺香港城市大學讀緊書嘅，我讀緊 finance。我喺呢個團隊裏邊負責做 business development。呢啲係我 teammate 啦，Olivia 同埋 Haki，自己介紹。
Olivia Natasha. I studied Bachelor of Science in Environmental Management and Technology at the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. I'll be responsible for the technology part of this product.
My name is Haki Moon and I am studying at the same university as Rob. My major is Media and Communication. My responsibility is to basically take care of the social impact part. Thank you. Now,
其實我哋今日好想講中文同你哋，但係你哋自己睇啦，佢哋兩個唔得閒，所以咧就會用英文。
okay, that was funky. So, Inno-Chemos is a company with a vision to make the world safer and a better place to live in. Now, how did he come up with these? First of all, I'd like to walk you through two events which happened. In 2007, Mattel recalled 9 million lead-tainted toys from China. And in 2008, 6 babies died and 300,000 were taken ill from the milk powder scandal. Now, also, while I was sitting here today, I was looking at SCMP, and the milk powder scandal, which happened in 2008, still echoes on till now. Now, and before we go on, I'd like to actually mention that a very small group, still significant though, in my opinion, I'd like to briefly mention the animal welfare in Hong Kong. First of all, no experiment is illegal, and no matter how cruel, redundant, painful it is, 50% of animals die within 3 weeks after being used in cosmetic testing. Interesting enough, only a handful of companies in Hong Kong label their products as free from animal testing. So, what the society needs right now is a testing method which is not harmful to animals, accurate, and not expensive or time-consuming, because the current testing method is anything but. Thank you. Now, I'll pass it to Olivia.
I would like to introduce our revolutionary technology that we came up with, chemosensors. So what are chemosensors? What is this technology all about? Chemosensors are simply synthesized molecules that are capable of reversibly binding and detecting target molecules while using some measurable signals, either in the form of the emission of light or also color changes. Now I'll let you do a small demonstration of what our magical product is capable of doing. Just suppose you go to your local grocery store and purchase any consumer product. It can be milk powder. But you suspect that this milk powder could be contaminated by any harmful or toxic substance, for example, melamine. You have to test it to verify whether it is safe for consumption. Well, all you need to do is purchase a specifically designed chemosensor, just like in this sample. Add your milk to it in its simple pre-treated form and wait for the specified incubation period, ladies and gentlemen. If the substance turns red, like in this sample, then the substance is contaminated. But if it remains green, like in the original sample, then you can trust that it's safe for consumption. When out of the lab, our chemosensors will be in the form of powder. But in the first stage of product development, we'll get them coated to microtiter plates and sold to our customers as test kits. We strategically designed our chemosensor product to be in the form of microtiter plates, as this is similar to the currently used testing methods in the market. This will not only reduce the switching costs incurred by our customers, but also prompt them to purchase our product. Now let's take a look at the currently used testing methods I mentioned. There is the ELISA kit, chemical analysis, and also, unfortunately, animal testing. The ELISA kit is the enzyme-linked immunoabsorbance assay. And it also comes in the form of microtiter plate, as you can see. But however, this testing method takes several hours, and it uses antibodies and color changes to detect target substances. These antibodies are collected from animals, so the consumables for this testing process are not only extremely expensive, but also harmful to the nature. The ELISA kit is hard to handle as well, as the antibodies used are extremely sensitive to external stimuli. In terms of the chemical analysis makes use of complex machines and equipment that cost millions of US dollars to test for target substances. The initial setup for this testing process is also extremely expensive, and it takes several hours for testing. Besides, on-site testing is not possible, and I can tell you that on-site testing is one of the greatest limitations faced by the testing industry currently. In terms of product research and development, by the end of the third year, we plan to launch these two amazing products, which are the Lab-on-a-Chip and the Rapid Test Strip. The Lab-on-a-Chip, well, as its name says, will be able to make on-site testing a lot more feasible than at the moment. The Rapid Test Strip, or stick, as our saying goes, anyone who knows a pregnancy test also knows our Rapid Test Strip. Similar to the pregnancy test, our Rapid Test Strip makes use of color changes to analyze substances qualitatively. In order to use this magical product, all you need to do is put the substance to be tested on the stick and wait for the results. If the stick turns red, then it's definitely contaminated. But if it remains green, then you can be sure it's safe for consumption. Just imagine how amazing this would be, as each and every one of us would be able to use this magical product to test our own consumer products back home. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine 7 billion people will have access to this product and will be able to cheaply test for their own food on their own, as giant testing labs can also have flaws. They'll be able to double check for the safety of their products using this magical equipment. This will not only raise awareness about consumer product safety, but also put pressure on every member, every stakeholder in our supply chain to ensure the quality of their products. But how do we plan to bring this idea to life? How do we plan to launch our revolutionary product to the market? Ralph is going to talk about that.
Thank you very much, Olivia, for briefing us about the technology. I really enjoyed the part about the product research and development. But then, how are we going to distribute these products? Your safety is just a reach away. All you will need to do when you doubt your consumer product is contaminated is simply to go to a Watson store or a Manning store or any other store and purchase the Rapid Test Strip to be able to test for your consumer product. So let me brief you through a competitive analysis of our testing method compared to other testing methods right now on the market. Ladies and gentlemen, these magic molecules are going to revolutionize the whole consumer product testing industries. Using these chemosensors, up to 70% reduction in both cost and time of testing will be achieved. Up to 70%, ladies and gentlemen. Our chemosensors are not only easy to use, but they are extremely easy to maintain. Their sensitivity and their selectivity are acceptable according to industry standards. And last but not the least, the research and development for newly discovered chemicals to be tested for on the market is much faster compared to other testing methods, such as the ELISA kit and chemical analysis. This is only 1 month for chemosensors. So let's talk about the business model. This will simply consist of selling the testing kits at an average price of $15 to $25 to whom? Our clients, who are going to consist of government and commercial testing labs and manufacturers and the whole world population. Just as Olivia said, 6 billion people. I think you said 7 billion, no? 7 billion actually, I was wrong, sorry. So geographically speaking, we plan to start with Hong Kong and China before later on expanding globally after the first 3 years of operation. So talking about the market size, after reading quality online research reports and talking to a lot of industry experts, we came out with these amazing market figures. In Hong Kong, the total market size for consumer product testing will be a mighty 2 billion. In China, that will be 7.5 times, that is 15 billion US dollars. In the US, 20 billion. And worldwide speaking, we're talking about an amount of 60 billion US dollars, ladies and gentlemen. The different average growths are shown on the slide. So our clients are going to consist of commercial and government testing labs, and we spoke to a bunch of them, and those who showed interest are shown on the slide. These include SGS, Fugo, Casco, and many others. In fact, right now, at the moment, we are working with most of them for validation testing of our testing methods. We also spoke to a bunch of manufacturers, and those who showed interest are shown on the slide. They showed an amazing interest in using a technology to cut their costs, to reduce their costs. So, talking about each chemosensor is able to test for a single molecule. So we came out with a plan in the first 3 years of operation, which states the different chemosensors to be tested for in the different years of operations. For example, in the first year, we're going to synthesize 18 phthalates to be able to test for 18 phthalates in the food and toys industry, 18 chemosensors, sorry, to be able to test for 18 phthalates in the food and toys industry. In the second year, 21 amines. In the third year, 17 preservatives and Z drugs. So what is the current progress of our technology? Where do we stand right now? Where does our venture stand? Well, we are licensing the background patent of this great technology. This is the patent covering how these magic molecules are synthesized in the laboratory. We are filing for the foreground patent, which is the one covering how these magic molecules will be used to test for our consumer products, will be commercially used to test for our consumer products. We are applying for the incubation program from the Hong Kong Science Park and the Innovation and Technology Fund. We have clients to whom we spoke to. In a business plan, we have a list of clients to whom we spoke to who are committed to purchase the products after they go to the market. We successfully invited the IP inventors. We are extremely honored to have done so. Professor Michael Lam and Professor Stephen Chow to lead our technical team. So we came up with these amazing revenue projections using the bottom-up approach, and also, we also came up with these financial highlights. And, ladies and gentlemen, every single great idea requires a great team in order to be executed. We, the founders of Inno-Chemos, built an amazing team. First of all, a technical team and a management team. The technical team will be made up of Professor Stephen Chow and Professor Michael Lam. These two are previous fellows of Nobel Prize laureates, and they are in our team right now. They have over 10 years of experience trying to build out this magic technology. Also, we recruited some management experts for our management team. These include Mr. Jimmy Tao, who has had experience in leading a couple of technology companies from startup to IPO. Dr. Andrew Wong, who is great at selling the ELISA kit. Dr. Sherman Fong, he's going to advise us on laboratory issues. Dr. Tang, he worked in major testing laboratories in Hong Kong. And Dr. Francis Leung, he worked as a QC manager at Mattel, and also as a lab manager at Casco, a testing lab. Ladies and gentlemen, Inno-Chemos came out with this great technology in order to improve consumer product safety. And we plan to leverage the Hong Kong social enterprise platform in order to kick off or start up this venture. Let's all work together in order to make this world a safer and a better place to live in. Thank you very much.
How ready is the technology?
Already it is.
Yes, just very simple.
It's right now out of the laboratory, and we're working. Actually, it's already very, very feasible. It can actually test for right now only 3 phthalates. Phthalates are harmful substances found in food and toys. So right now we're working with the clients like SGS, Casco, in order to produce a product form, in order to make a final product form. And right now, in anticipation, our first product form will be in the form of the microtitle plate. Yeah, but actually it can already test for consumer products right now, the technology.
Yes. Is there any limitation for your product?
The limitation right now, I think, is one chemosensor can test only for one specific molecule. That's the one of the limitations. I think it's the only one. I think so. Yeah.
How many substance you are going to test in your list?
Okay, in the first year of operation, like synthesizing a single chemosensor takes around 1 month from our estimates. And like in the first year, we're going to synthesize from our estimates 18 phthalates to be tested for in the food and toys industry. In the second year, 21 amines, and in the third year, 17 preservatives and vet drugs to get into the different consumer product industries. Yeah, in 3 years. In 3 years, like you should take into consideration the time. But later on, with continuous research and development, we're gonna like build up our database of like molecules we can test for.
Okay, I want to know more about the patent problem, the patent issue. I'm sorry. Patent is not owned by your company. It is owned by two professors, Professor Lam and Professor Chow, and they are the advisors of your team. Or are they social investor of your social enterprise? So just one situation, if they quit, they no longer become your supervisor, so you no longer own this patent, and your company will be closed.
Actually, right now they are in a team with some equity. They are in a team, and like, well, in terms of quitting, that's kind of a risk, a business risk we need to take into consideration. But if they quit, actually, we've already licensed the background patent for this technology, and we already have the foreground patent we are filing right now. As I said, the foreground patent will be that one covering how the magic molecules, like the chemosensors, are going to be used to commercially test for the consumer products. So we will have that patent. So even if they quit, well, they're really good talent. I don't think that they're going to like to quit, but still, we can find some other people to replace them.
What's the timeline of this licensing?
The timeline is 5 years right now. Yeah. For the. Mm-hmm.
And then you push the product to the market.
Mm.
I'm sorry. just I see a business with in this case because it's still not owned by your organization or your company. But it takes 5 years for you to get the license of this.
No. It doesn't take 5 years. Like we're licensing the
license.
Yeah, the lifeline of the patent.
Yeah.
Will be 5 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
We already have the patent right now. We're licensing. In like, our timeline is this way. After 3 months, we're gonna have validation. And at that moment, we're going to have the background patent already licensed by our business. So in 3 months, we're going to have the patent and validation from like certification from the government for those who want
I have a question about, from a customer's point of view, have you done research in terms of why people are actually interested in testing everything they eat?
We realized that most mainland housewives come to Hong Kong to purchase milk. They're not safe with the milk in their own home countries. So they come to Hong Kong, and then people in Hong Kong don't have enough milk. They come to purchase. There is currently a limitation that's supposed to be implemented very soon of two boxes of milk per person to import to mainland China. So we analyzed this problem, and we thought that if the people could test the milk by themselves, it would be extremely helpful, as this kind of problem wouldn't arise.
Yes, I agree. I'll have a follow-up question on this. The melanin problem in China, I mean, we're all very much aware of this. But then I think that there's a trust issue in terms of whether the milk powder is real. So currently, your product can only test one chemical at a time. So possibly it might not be a melanin problem, but it will be some other problem. So I guess it's not just a testing issue that you're addressing, it's the overall trust issue of these brands and products.
You mean trust of the whole testing method, or just
on
of
the
the
products? On the products. Yes.
Well, our chemosensor is able to test for one single molecule, but as I said, we're going to come out with this rapid test strip after the first 3 years of operation. So after then, and as I said, our chemosensors, the research and development to test for newly discovered chemicals. Imagine tomorrow they say there's an epidemic break of, let's say, A1 alpha hydrogen. Let's say it's a molecule, very, very harmful to the body. Using the LISA kit to synthesize the testing method will take 6 months. Chemical analysis, I think it takes 1 year. And our chemosensors only takes 1 month. So that's how we are competitive place on the market right now.
Any more questions? Sorry, beg your pardon. The testing time need 1 month or one?
No. The synthesis of new testing processes.
Okay.
The design for testing processes, for
Okay.
that particular newly discovered harmful molecule. Because actually, here is how it works. The LISA kit is in the form of the microtiter plate, and instead of having a chemosensors coated to the microtiter plate, they have antibodies obtained from animals, and animals die because of that. So all we need to do is just replace the antibodies with our chemosensors, and then they're going to be able to use the testing kit to test for the harmful substance they want to test for.
And do you have any competitor in the market? In customer point of view?
Right now, we don't have anyone who provides this kind of solution, this kind of rapid test strip, which just tests at once for the consumer products right now. But maybe in 3 years' time, we may have. So that's why we are building a really, really strong team, a management team and a technical team to if this problem comes up, we're just gonna immediately solve it.
Okay, one last question. How do you expect the user use your product for every meal or?
For example, if you buy a can of milk, just as Olivia showed you, we're just gonna give you a demonstration with this, but with the rapid test strip, all you will need to do is to make a solution of the milk to be tested, Let's say this is the milk, and then insert the rapid test strip inside, and then put it out. If it turns color, then that means it's contaminated, but if not, then you're safe. Can you drink this water? This is. You need to take a sample. It's not safe to drink it. It's really not safe to drink it.
Put the milk powder in the substance.
Yeah, so this is my question. How do you expect the user, how frequent the user have to use it for every meal or?
No. If you buy, let's say,
Maybe I buy a pack of biscuits.
Mhm.
If I want to test it,
Mhm.
I have to test it before.
For only one sample of biscuit, and that's it.
And the test take 1 hour.
Yeah. Right now we have not yet fixed this because it's one of our research and development plans. The actual technical team will fix all of these problems. How long is the testing gonna be? But it's probably not gonna be long. Yeah.
Yes, because what I'm wondering is, when I want to have my lunch, I need 1 hour to test my lunch before I.
It's not going to be long.
It's not gonna be that long.
That's one of the faults of the current testing methods.
This
They're really long.
this 1 hour you're talking about is actually the one for this particular one, the microtiter plate, and this is only for businesses testing labs and manufacturers. But for customers, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be much more faster. Yeah.
So you are responsible for the marketing plan of this proposal here. Can you tell me some more about the marketing plan? And the second one is, I know that you are also responsible for the social impact part.
Yes.
So how to measure your social impact and what kind of indicators to measure this impact?
First thing first, the social impact we aim to achieve is animal welfare, freeing animals from cruelty, and second of all, of course, it concerns small manufacturers being able to launch, as Ralph said, into business without having the startup cost in a ridiculous amount of money. And third of all, it is to prevent any milk powder scandal things. Now, how are we going to market it? We're probably going to put up TVCs, just TV commercials to make people, first of all, you have to make people aware of what we're trying to sell, right? So that is the kind of technique we're going to implement, just like any other PR firms, but we'd probably use for example, wait.
Honestly, like for the marketing of this rapid test strip, we have not yet figured it out because this will be in 3 years' time. But for the marketing of this first product development, the micro title plate, which will be sold to lab and test and like governments and manufacturers, it'll be simple. Like right now, we're working with them already, so they'll simply buy a product and like we'll get revenues and like that's how they're going to use the product to test for more products, and that's how a social impact will be. Well, if our product is used for testing, then the world will simply be a safer and a better place to live in because like we won't have these problems such as milk and other contaminated toys and lead-tainted toys. Yeah, exactly. But for the marketing of the rapid test strip, we didn't come out with exactly the details of how we're going to market.
Okay.
Any more
Questions?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for your time.